Good morning once again, and I have the privilege of being the moderator for a group which is maybe got about 80 years of experience collectively together, maybe more, maybe more. So it is my pleasure to introduce Shailesh, who is the last chairman of India Fashion Forum, who's the guy who's created some of the biggest brands in this country in the fashion space, established some really strong institutions, and also I've had the privilege of having him as a boss early in my career. There is Akhilesh, and Akhilesh is the boss of the biggest retail business in this country. And yes, so it's a matter of great pride to us to have Akhilesh here. And of course, I've had the pleasure of getting a lot of advice from him, and he's also one of my biggest customers. So great to have Akhilesh here as well. And there is Venu, who's both a great friend, ex-CEO of Shoppers Stop, where he was, again, I've had the privilege of working closely with him. He's also a former colleague at Madura, and of course, Venu has been through some amazing experiences in his career, and now he's at Myntra. So as you can see, a really, really formidable, exciting panel, which is going to talk about collaborating for success. And the way I would like it is so that you're all part of this, we're all in this together. Feel free, once the panelists have warmed up, feel free to raise your hands and ask your questions as well, and whatever your thoughts are for this panel and this theme for today, so that we can involve everybody in this. Opening remarks first from each of you. As an industry, from each one of you, as an industry, what are we doing well? Before we can get to what we can get better, what are we doing well? Shailesh, you want to take this first?
If I see 25 years back in Bangalore, where our store used to be shut on Saturdays and Sundays, where there's no car park for customers, most of the brand had maybe one category. Somebody was selling jeans, somebody was selling formal shirt. I think as an industry, we've come forward. And if there was a index of market cap or valuation or enterprise value or whatever, and if you have benchmarked that 20 years back to now, you would see that graph would have grown significantly higher. And you see when the industry is doing well, you see a lot of the big houses come forward and then invest because they see it's very attractive to invest. So we have, two of the biggest industry houses sitting here. You have the Vishak from the Birla group and Akhilesh from the Ambani group. I think only Tata and Venu has worked with the Tata. So, he also has somewhere, you're just talking about the Tata, the Ambanis and the Birla sitting on this stage right now. So, clearly, if the biggies, the big daddies of the Indian industry have thought to or found it attractive to invest, then obviously something good has happened in our industry, Vishak.
All right. Venu?
I think if we look at, as an industry, what have we done? And the whole experience for our customer, I think we've consistently and constantly improved. And again, taking on from what Shailesh started, if you think about the whole shopping experience in the late 90s, early 2000s to what it is now, starting from the quality of experience that the customer has in the shops, the ability to be able to shop 24/7 because of the whole digital experience and the digital availability, and taking that further to also getting the customer to be able to receive what they order literally in half an hour, which is what we've started to do. So I think that whole experience for the customer has evolved consistently. Quality of merchandise, getting the latest fashion, latest trends at the same time as it is in the rest of the world. Whereas, when we started, it used to be 2 seasons. Now you have weekly, fortnightly, monthly. I mean, monthly seems too long now. And I think those are some of the evolution that has happened. And there's so much to celebrate about.
Akhilesh?
As you can see, Venu ended a little abruptly, so you'll have to give me a couple of minutes. So I think one of the biggest changes that have happened is we've made fashion affordable to all. And that was the biggest movement that happened in this country. We have also evolved. We have evolved along the line of convenience. So, you know, in my own stint, I'm a little older than these guys, so I can go back a further 5-10 years. But I've seen, salwar kurta dupatta evolve from selling as a fabric, then ready to cut, then ready to stitch, then as a set, and then as a mix and match. And I don't know if you're aware that it's now coming back to set, right? A lot of evolution has happened in this industry. Today, I can sell a salwar kurta dupatta for women cheaper than I sold 10 years back, right? So we have made fashion affordable as we go along. And we have generated demand. We have improved quality of life of people. When I was a kid, there was nothing called blue jeans. I mean, you had drill fabric which was dyed blue, which was sold in the stores in South Extension, which we used to go and buy from Delhi University. So now, I don't know, jeans, God knows how many brands there would be. I guess at least in a few thousands in this country. So one is we have spread fashion, but most of us have concentrated on urban pockets. I think more than 60% of India living in villages, we are still largely irrelevant to them. And that is where the next battle will be, as to how to make this product affordable for the conglomerate of houses which give you a population lot of 3,000 to 4,000 people. How do you cater to them with no organized retail there? So some of it is happening through online, but I think India will not miss that stage of evolution where online will evolve ahead of offline. So most markets will have to be opened by offline. So I think these are some of the challenges that are coming our way. Innovation solves everything. So my challenge from my bosses was always that how do you give, so for example, if you look at Reliance's success in technology and telephonic, mobile technologies. So we have made 4G affordable to everyone. Now we are making 5G affordable to everyone. And that is very affordable for, I mean, we have cheapest bandwidth rates. So it's been calculated that because of these kind of technology changes, for the last 7-8 years, we are adding 1% to the GDP of the country every year. So these changes should be welcome. The point is, like you said, how to collaborate and how to be comfortable with change, how to welcome change. And I've been very technology unfriendly guy. Can't really handle a laptop even today, but I can argue with a technology guy on a lot of things that he does. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. Yes, round of applause for that. I think clearly, fair to say, we've become a better industry from where we were. We have a lot of better retail infrastructure, almost 1,000 malls, maybe about 300 department stores, and of course, another 1,000-odd trend stores, and a lot of value department stores, 2,600 trend stores, and maybe by the time we finish this meeting, the number might change. So, very interesting also, a lot of regional retailers becoming so strong. I just met Vipin from Capsons, and he's 35 stores. RS Brothers is 60 plus stores and so on. I think so there is a lot of, using technology, using very modern retailing practices to become so successful. Making fashion affordable, and clearly that is something which has happened. Making fashion a lot more consumer friendly, again, is something which has happened over the years. So a lot that we can feel good about, which has happened over the years. So I'm going to ask each of you now, if there's one thing which doesn't feel right for you and you want to change, and that when you ask, it shall happen. What is that one change that you would want to see for the industry? Any order? Who want to take that first? Sure.
See, there's a lot that we expect going forward, and if I look at just a business matrix and look at P&L from a sales to margin to the other cost to capital efficiency, everywhere there is a lot of improvement. But my current pet sort of improvement area is returns back from the market. This whole supplying goods to the market, and then X% of the goods come back from your stores or from department store or from MBO counters or from online players, and that's very inefficient. You put the money, send it to the market, then it comes back. There is a capital blocked on that, then there is a value loss of the inventory every week. Science says that maybe you lose 1% realization every week. So if you delay it by 2 months, you lost 8-9% of the value. So, and capital block, then refinishing, transportation cost. I mean, to me, if that one enemy was removed from the industry or reduced, elimination is really not possible, but reduced, then we will all be happier.
Right. Very specific, Shailesh. Yes.
Yeah, and I think for me, infrastructure has improved quite a bit, but I think there is a lot more that can happen in that space. And I think one way we have, in a way, leapfrogged or overcome that is using technology, and in various aspects, not just the customer facing, but even whether it is logistics, whether it is supply chain, all of those areas, I think technology has helped. But at the same time, I think it's important for the infrastructure to continue to keep pace. And I think that's an area where each of us as businesses also continue to invest in, and important we continue to grow that part.
Yeah, I think automation, technology solves probably all the problems that we have. The way we are today, I mean, we couldn't have imagined 10 years back that this is what the market would be. I am reminded, the Myntra guys talk about the market, but this would not have been possible unless we had 4G and 5G in the market. We'd exploded the market for that, right? Before that, I used to come to office and I found that hundreds of courier packets got delivered in office. So I used to wonder, why office? Then I realized that none of them have broadband at home. So they would order in office, receive it in office. There was also the factor that both husband and wife were working, so they would take the packet in office. But technology has changed a hell of a lot today. Solutions that we are talking about, like coming back, he talked about. Why are products coming back? That's because they're coming back because, okay, 10% may be fraud, but 90% is there was something which didn't match the requirement of the customer. So the color online looked something else. When I got the product, it looks different. So can you give resolution which will give true color to the customer? The fit is a little wrong, so I can't wear it. But I think today we have technology whereby you can create your avatar online and try the product on the avatar for yourself. So that's not technology we'll see maybe in months rather than years, which will happen. So a lot of these will get solved by technology. And I think growth will come through that. Technology is always leapfrog growth. It has never held back growth. Yeah.
I think specifically on the returns part, and I can give an example here because it's here and now live. I mean, at Myntra, and returns obviously is a value destroyer effectively. And so to that extent, reducing that is paramount for all of us. And using AI, and because we are a platform, we sell brands and we've got thousands of brands. For a customer, how do we make that buying behavior still easy and simple? Because I think we all know that sizes can vary, measurements can vary by brand. Based on the specs of the brand, taking the key measurements from the brand, what we have evolved is to be able to recommend a size to the customer. And we've seen significant reduction in returns because of that. And also on the platform, each user can have, as Akhilesh said, you can have your own avatar, you can have your own profile. And then based on your past behavior, it actually suggests what size you should be buying. And that's gone a long way in reducing returns. And that's only been possible because of the usage of technology, usage of AI, to be able to consume thousands of, lakhs of data points and bring that to that one point, which is you as a consumer.
Yeah, so superior reverse logistics, lesser returns, greater innovation, greater use of technology, stronger infrastructure. Please feel free to add to this list as we go along. But clearly these are some of the areas that we feel that there is stuff to be done. पर वो एक फिल्म का डायलॉग था जिसमें था कि एक लड़का और एक लड़की कभी दोस्त नहीं हो सकते. तो उसी तरह एक कॉम्पिटिटर और दूसरा कॉम्पिटिटर कभी कोलैबोरेट नहीं कर सकते, ऐसा किसी पिक्चर में डायलॉग. तो what does this panel think? How is it that people like us, who in some spheres do compete for space, compete for market share, compete for the same consumer's wallet, etc., how is it that you would prescribe that we collaborate for greater common benefit?
I think the days have gone when ladka and ladki, abhi to ladka bhi dost nahi ho sakte. I think, but I think at the same time, I think we all collaborate. I think depends on the occasion, depends on the instance, need, and while, I can just, on this panel, I think individually at various points in my career for the business, we have worked together. And I think that's something which we all do. And I think there are areas like, and if you talk of talent, and there is an area where we could collaborate to develop talent for the industry. And that's something which is the need of the hour has always been. As an industry, we are always short of good talent. And coming together as an industry to be able to, whether collaborating with retail institutes, retail colleges, and creating courses which we can then commonly benefit from. I think that's an area which all of us could be benefiting, and we could be doing that. And I think in bits and pieces, pockets, we've all done that, but probably we do it as individual companies rather than doing it together as an industry. And that's one area I can think of where we could be doing something together.
So, I don't know. I think Shailesh is in deep thought, so he's figuring out how to collaborate. But
it doesn't happen very regularly.
I think it's a tough question. I could ask Vishak, how does Louis Philippe collaborate with Van Heusen? It's a tough one. So it's a tough one. Knowledge that someone develops is developed at a cost. So you don't really let go of that knowledge unless you have to or you are compensated for it. Can Coke collaborate with Pepsi? Tough one. Can Microsoft collaborate with Apple? I don't know. So the point is to have forums where you are able to openly share what you have done. It will give ideas to people. And ultimately, like capitalism is, the value is built out of competition. So I don't know if collaboration can build value within closed groups, yes. So if I figure out a particular transportation solution from one division on one company of mine. And I'm able to roll it out to another company, but I can tell you, I mean, there's blood on the ground before it has passed on from one to the other. So it's tough. These are some of the forums where collaborations help, but generally it's a competitive world, and the best results are coming out of competition. And that should be allowed to prevail, because then the customer gets the best. Collaboration means, it sounds to me a little bit like communism, you know. And everyone to as his needs rather than the other way around. Yeah.
In my career, whenever we spoke of industry benchmarks, collaboration, I always compared with what was happening in FMCG, because it was related somewhere, but a little more evolved in, as an industry, a little more older also. And for example, a lot of time when we're discussing with advertising agency, and they said, AC Nielsen data on the consumption of this category on this FMCG product shows that your market share is this, or industry size is this, or growth rate is this. That kind of data never been available, and we've tried, but still, we are working with a lot of guesstimates and, shooting in the dark. So that was the one reference we always said, why can't we collaborate and get a, the category-wise market size, growth rate, trends, etc. So that's where the thought process started. Second point is that, see, whatever we do, eventually has to be consumer right? I mean, eventually business grows when there are more number of consumers buying more, right? So that's a simple arithmetic that, the pie expands when there are bigger number of consumers or larger number of consumers and buying per capita more, right? So everything has to be consumer driven in my sense, and all of us have a lot of problems that we encounter to solve. Now, like Akhilesh said, that we also compete, right? So now, if I have 10 points to solve, now maybe 3 are so sensitive that I can't collaborate with a likely competitor. I need a consultant to sort of connect with and take their inputs, because it'll be sensitive. But there are many points where we together as industry can come forward and say that let's use our combined sort of strength, might to become a little more pro-consumer and increase the size of the business. So whether it's the sales side or the margin side or the cost side or the capital employed side, I think there are many areas. I can take 1 or 2 of them. For example, let's say sales side. Now, we had Mr. Sarabhai make a presentation on sustainability, and the book was launched by Dr. Nair Tyagi. And, if tomorrow consumers become very sensitive to use of sustainable product, like what you see in Europe and some other parts of the world, it's not that wave not reach India, but it'll happen hopefully someday. Now, if that happens, and when the consumers start saying, I want only sustainable product, then the industry has to probably collaborate on, how to use sustainable, whether it's a cotton, or our vendors, they have crash or fire safety, or how we use, how we consume energy in our stores. For example, the lighting, is it LED? Can we work at the right lux level, not higher? How do we use air conditioning? There's too much of air conditioning being used in a lot of retail spaces. Can we reduce the consumption of electricity, for example? So there are many such plastic use, packaging. There are a lot of areas that industry can work together, collaborate, and make our business more sustainable in case consumers are making a vote in favor of sustainable products. On the margin side, I would say the cost of doing business, inefficiencies, wastefulness, a lot of areas. You look at whether it's the rent cost, post-COVID, it's just gone through the roof. Business has not grown that well, but the cost structure has gone ahead of the sales growth or the margin growth. So can we all collaborate? And new mall, and that's one area where we all informally collaborate and say, oh, this guy is launching a new mall in this place. And a lot of malls fail, and some malls succeed. And we all call up and find out, are you going there? And, what is your thought, whether this mall will do well or not? So if there is a, collaboration on, getting that right. Also, even when a mall is getting launched, some brands open on time and some businesses don't open on time. That's inefficient for everyone because, when you open a store, you're efficient, but then the walk-ins don't happen because the whole mall is not ready. But we can, figure out that we all decide a date and we all open so that from day one, the trading, because you already invested in CapEx, you already invested in stock, you have staff ready, trained, but, they are getting demotivated in a new mall which is not fully occupied. And I can, keep giving example of how to improve on cost of doing business, on cost side manage talent. We work with a lot of design institute. There is a certain quality. Can we improve it further? Can we, all collaborate to ensure that the students are getting the right kind of training? Individual, I understand many companies are doing, but as an industry, can we work together and improve the training the design institute or fashion institute or even MBA institutes are getting on the retail or on fashion or related, accessories, etc., lifestyle products. And capital, I just used a return that, how much capital gets blocked and your ROCE gets reduced because your X capital is just blocked in, the returns coming. And likewise, many areas, where we can make the industry a little more return efficient and the return on capital employed efficient. So there are many areas, Vishak, that, we can collaborate together. And while we will need to compete for sure, that's a part of our life and that's our purpose. But we also should not be blind. There's enough and more areas that we can collaborate together.
Perfect. In fact, I remember, especially in times of crises like COVID, how the entire industry came together, to solve each other's problems, to be able to find a rent solution, to be able to do various such things. I guess we have to find ways by which we collaborate stronger, even in good times. On that note, I'm going to open it to the audience. We have 5 minutes more. So any thoughts that you have to the panelists on how we as an industry could collaborate better? Would love to hear it from, the handsome young man from B.S. Channabasappa.
Thank you. I'm a retailer from Karnataka. My question is to everybody on the panel from the Omnichannel perspective.
Collaborate. Say which retailer.
B.S. Channabasappa. B.S. Channabasappa.
Okay, we are into clothing, a family store. So the topic is about the discount culture. In our stores, we have labels as well as brands. In labels, what we do, we put discounts for the non-moving stocks to get rid of it, to liquidate it. But when it comes to brands, there are multipliers put initially while putting up the price itself that we are going to sell this much in discount, this is going to go into EOSS. So the budgeting is done already there. When it comes to Aditya Birla, they've changed it recently and they've introduced something called AMM, Active Merchandise Management. So only the stocks which are not moving is put into discounts. So I would want to ask your perspective, your insights with this from Shailesh ji and Reliance and Myntra as well. Especially Myntra, I would want to understand how you look at discounting. Thank you.
I didn't understand. Do you want us to discount what is selling?
I want to understand your perspective on discount selling.
भाई हम लोग को एक पैसा भी डिस्काउंट नहीं देने का है.
I second that, sir.
हम लोग धंधे में घुसे पैसा बनाने के लिए. So we don't want to give any discount. Discount is a necessity of, you have to get rid of stock, so you discount. It's very.
I think he wants to hear it from Venu.
Venu is a master in that. Now we also need a channel, so Venu provides the channel, all at a fee.
See, we are a marketplace, we are a platform which provides every brand the right to do what they want to do. End of the day, it is for the brand to decide what they want to do with the pricing. And I think the discounting finally, like Akhilesh ji said, it's finally about, ideally no retailer, no brand wants to discount. But it's a resultant of what you bought versus what you've been able to sell. And that's really...
What does the word brand mean? It's a premium, right? Why do you want to create a brand? It gives you a premium. Why would you want to discount it? We don't want to discount it. But yeah, there are various theories to discounting. EDLP brands don't discount. They don't like to discount. Their ability to discount is low. High-low brands have multipliers of 3, 4, 5. Their ability to discount is higher. But
Can I?
Discount is everywhere a necessity only. I don't think it's a strategy.
I just share quickly two anecdotes. Once I was in Dubai with the Landmark Group, Renuka Jagtiani, and I used to run a brand that we were selling from their stores. So I have a regular meeting. So she said, in her business, they wanted customer to not look at the sticker. The consumer largely should not worry about the pricing. And say a lot of my 60% of my consumers come to the till, then they sell because they have a price assurance of a certain consistent pricing. Each category maybe 2 layers of pricing or 3 layers of pricing. It said if your consumer is looking too much at the sticker, then you lost the battle. Then the trust is not there. So I think the message is that pricing has to be predictable, consistent. That's one rule. Second anecdote is very recently, one of the images function, I was having a dialogue with Venkat, who's the CEO of Trent. And they have very, very low discounting, as a business. And, the discounting is in low single digit and the full price sell-throughs very high. And after the little bit of discounting, 90% plus. So the returns are less than 10%, single digit return. Very, very good matrices and listed companies. So you can see some of those results. It's not just somebody, spinning a story. So I asked him that, how do you manage this high full price sell-through and how do you manage such low, return. So he said that they have a pricing philosophy where they don't touch the pricing in the season. They don't discount. So what happens is that they check, if I remember correctly, for 4 weeks or 5 weeks of the trading. And if the stock is not up to a certain ROS, they pull back and keep it in the warehouse. And they put something else because the perishable shelf space. So then they bring something else and they hope that sells. And if something doesn't sell, they pull back and it goes to the back. Now the advantage is that the consumer doesn't see any discounting. So they know what the price is the price is. And in the AOSs, Venkat said that they bring back all the goods and they discount at that point of time. So very, very consistent, sharp pricing, very, very affordable pricing, etc. Like what Akhilesh said, that
I guess
fashion affordable.
While he liked everybody's answers, there is a reality that there is a whole lot of discounting going on around, and probably as a forum together, we have to see how we bring some more control into this thing which has gone beyond control. And I think even as a retailer, you have a responsibility to encourage brands which discount lesser, so that it becomes, you train the system to say let's do lesser and lesser of that, and that's what Shailesh was also trying to say. Great. We have been given time for just last 2 more questions, and any 2 questions. Okay, Vikram, you've got a question there. Okay, I'll request you to ask any one of the panelists so that in the interest of speed.
I'm just throwing an open question. This is really important. I mean, I've been hearing all the 3 talking about, and the whole industry, be it India, be it international, everybody is talking about costing. Post-COVID, retailers are facing it really tough to contain cost because profitability is the key now to go ahead. I mean, we are talking about 2025 and whatnot years to come. And we do discounting, everything, every said and done. At the end of the day, at the end of the evening, galne mein jo paisa aaya hai has to make profit. We have to make profits as retailers, as brand owners, manufacturers, everything. I want to ask, I mean, anybody can take this, and if you can share 3 different perspectives on how you are taking a call on containing the cost as a whole.
Okay. All right. I think, first of all, Vikram, what you've said, I'm sure each one of us is dealing with this. There is a reality of high costs which have gone up. Demand hasn't kept pace with that cost increase. And to that extent, each one of us has to look. Some of the clues were provided by the panelists about eliminating wastage from the system, which doesn't help anybody, right? Reverse logistics is one of those. There is unnecessary wastage. Or a mall which opens half full of retailers, other half not come in yet, is another kind of wastage which costs everybody more money. Talent which is not fully ready but has moved into the stores. So there are various areas where I think we will have to figure ways to keep costs tighter. including real estate costs, which is a very large part of how we. I think some of the sustainable practices might also help you to reduce costs in the system, and each one of us has to do that. There is no vanity in top line unless it is along with a sensible bottom line that we can build. And yet there is a reality that all of us are going through. I do know that there are many other sessions during the day which are also addressing some of this, which might throw some more light into this. Okay, do we have time for one last question? Okay, one last question, a quick, short one at that. All right, so nobody wants to ask a short question. All right. Okay.
Answer his cost question. Now, you have to understand economics a little better. What happened in COVID, see, inflation is of two kinds in traditional economic theory. It's cost push or demand pull. We used to have inflation before, which was demand pull. That means demand ran ahead of supply and hence prices went up. In case of COVID, when the supply chain shut down, right, the cost went up. It was a cost push inflation. You know, a cost of a container moving from Hong Kong to New York went up 4 times in cost. Not because a lot of demand was there for containers, it's because there were no containers available.
Yeah, and it had to take a longer route. Yeah.
So there are various factors to cost increasing. Yeah. Everybody ultimately balance out. Price is equal to, you know, demand by supply. So that is the ultimate ruling. Free
All right, so I'll close it this, Mr. Kapoor. Maybe you can take it offline with the panelists. Thank you very much for being such a lovely audience, and a special thank you and a round of applause to this wonderful panel. Thank you very much.